Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Jiva and welcome to a little Sunday afternoon reading vlog. Okay everybody, so as I said before, welcome to this new reading vlog. It's actually Sunday today, it's October, and it's like the first sunny Sunday that we've had in weeks now. And I just wanted to seize the day, take this opportunity and do a little cozy afternoon reading vlog. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. But it's not gonna be just any reading vlog because there's gonna be a thing that we're gonna do. So let me tell you about what's on the agenda for the rest of the day, and sort of like a backstory of how this idea came to be, because this video was actually inspired by an audiobook that I just finished listening to, and it's called Pumpkin Everything by Beth Lemond. And like the inspiration doesn't really come from the story itself, even though the story was pretty good. I was actually really impressed with how cute this romance was. So the book is basically about this young writer. She's a horror writer, but she's experiencing writer's block. So she doesn't really know how to proceed from there, but then she gets news that her grandfather, who still lives in her old town, had an accident, and he desperately needs somebody who's gonna take care of him and help him out while he is recovering from his injury. So obviously our main character takes it upon herself to actually go back and help him out, but she also runs into some other people in her old town that she kind of doesn't have everything, you know, there's stuff in the air that needs to be cleared. So yes, it's very fun. It is so cute. It is so incredibly autumnal. How the title plays into the story is that her grandfather actually owns a shop that's called Pumpkin Everything, and it was the title itself actually that sort of inspired this idea of why not just have like a fall day where every activity that we do is gonna be somehow pumpkin related. Like everything we're gonna be doing today is gonna have pumpkins with it. So some of my ideas for today's agenda are, first off, to read some books that have either the word pumpkin in the title or have a pumpkin somewhere on the cover, or are somehow pumpkin related. Like something about the books has to be very pumpkin-y and autumnal. And I already have sort of like the perfect two books picked out. I'm gonna tell you about them later. I'm also gonna try and carve a pumpkin. I have only ever carved one pumpkin before in my life and it wasn't very good. And today I think it's gonna be even more challenging because I couldn't find any of those like field pumpkins, or what are they called, that people usually carve. Instead I bought an edible one, and what I thought we could do is try to carve the pumpkin, see if it works, and then I'm actually gonna cook it into something delicious. So activity number 3 is gonna be to try and make this delicious recipe that includes pumpkins that I found, and I'm gonna try to make that later after we carve the pumpkin. And like the one thing actually that makes me the saddest about today though is that I really hoped that I could find a pumpkin patch and actually go and visit a pumpkin patch. But after a quick Google search, I realized I don't think we have any pumpkin patches in the country. I don't think it's really a thing here in Europe. Possibly in some other countries, but in Slovenia we definitely don't have any. Or I did a very poor research job, I'm not really sure. However, we might not have a pumpkin patch, but we do have Mozirski Guy, and Mozirski Guy came to the rescue. It's this park in Slovenia that actually holds kind of like events throughout the year. Like during spring they have a tulips exhibition, in December they have Christmas lights exhibition, and in September and October they just so happen to have a fall leaves and pumpkins exhibition. So not exactly a pumpkin patch, but it does come kind of close, because they just recently had sort of like the biggest and heaviest pumpkin competition, and I decided to drag my mom there so we could go and look at the pumpkins. This actually we did a couple of weeks back, because by now the exhibition is already closed because they are getting ready for Christmas lights already. But yes, I did drag out my mom and I took some clips of what we saw there. It was very beautiful. The pumpkins were very tall. They were almost as tall as my mother's. It was still a very fun trip. And yeah, it kind of seemed like a good alternative plan to visiting a pumpkin patch. But I think the one thing I'm most excited about for today is that I'm gonna try and make my own pumpkin spice latte. I was really sad when I realized I went to some of the cafes in like our town and asked around if they make pumpkin spice lattes, and all of them said that they unfortunately didn't make them yet. I think possibly if I drove to one of the bigger cities and went to a cafe there, I could find a pumpkin spice latte, but it's a Sunday today and I don't really feel like leaving the house. So instead we're gonna stay in, and I found a recipe how to make a homemade pumpkin spice latte, and we're actually gonna try that out. And first things first, before we go any further, I'm actually gonna go right now. I'm gonna pick up my bucket list jar that I made for this fall, and we are going to pick out an activity that I'm going to do today, because I did promise you guys to do an activity every single fall, and now we're finally here and vlogging, so it's finally time to pick something out. Wait, I should probably show you. I'm like stirring the little pieces of paper in there off camera, so it makes no sense. I should do it like this. Okay, we have something. What is this? Oh, I like this. So I guess we are gonna be leaving the house. Oh, I kind of like this. This is perfect because, as I said before, it is a sunny day today, so it's gonna be visible. The sunset is actually gonna be visible. For the past like month, we've actually had fog and rain, so there were no sunsets. But yes, so this item on my bucket list says to go for a bike ride and look for a sunset. So this we are gonna be planning in the evening. I know just the spot where I think the sunset is gonna look the prettiest, so we're gonna take a bike there and we're gonna watch it, and I think it's gonna be very nice. So yeah, I love this item. Okay, so that is first thing crossed off of my to-do list. You know, pick out a bucket list item to accomplish today. And now I actually really want to tell you about the books that I'm gonna be reading, because that's the exciting part about today as well. And I guess it's time to admit I'm gonna be cheating just a little bit with my TBR. I don't think anybody is really gonna be surprised about it. I kind of think cheating is a strong word though. I'm more like bending the rules just a little bit. But that's only because I have a book that I would really love to get to today. It just seems like this book would be the perfect Sunday afternoon read, if you know what I mean. So yes, the book I'd like to read is Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. And even though there is not the word pumpkin in the title, nor is there a pumpkin anywhere on this otherwise gorgeous cover, this book is the sequel to the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And I felt like, considering it's a sequel to the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, it deserves to have a spot on today's TBR. And I would just love to get back to this world, these characters, this romance. It just honestly sounds like the perfect autumnal romance to pick up on a day like today. So yeah, I can't wait to actually join and see what Hazel and Noah get up to. Apparently this is a story all about their adventure over summer, where they find like clues inside some of the books in Hazel's bookstore, and they decided they are going to follow those clues to see what adventures they take them on. It's like their attempt at having this very adventurous type of summer before Hazel turns 30. So yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be very sweet. And as I said, I read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe before, and I loved the community, the small town, the characters, the friendships, the romance, everything. So I'm hoping just to get more of all of that in this second book as well. So yes, bending the rules, not cheating, bending the rules. It's kind of funny because I make the rules and then I'm bending the rules. Why don't I just set the rules so they don't have to be bent? But anyway, that's a philosophical question for another time, because there's one other book that I'm actually listening to the audiobook of, and this one is not cheating nor bending the rules, because it's called Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist by K Mulford. I've started listening to it and I just got sucked in. I'm like already like halfway through, I want to say. and it is so sweet. We follow this, like, all these characters who live in this town. It's very like Halloween town coded. We have a witch called Jordan, and she ends up on like the anniversary of her breakup with her ex-girlfriend, who has already passed away. She decides to summon her ghost to like get closure, but once she summons her ex-girlfriend's ghost, the ghost doesn't want to go away. She says she's gonna stick around until Jordan moves on and finds a new love. So, you know, it's exactly what she does. So she kind of pushes Jordan into getting to know this town in Newby better called Harlow. Now, Harlow is human, and she's just visiting with her sister, who is a resident here, also human. But once Harlow gets here, she finds out all about these supernatural creatures that actually exist, and that magic is real, and this and that, you know, and obviously ends up falling in love with Jordan as well, and the feelings are mutual. But obviously getting to the point where they confess all this is actually gonna take way more than just saying the words, you know. It's gonna be quite interesting. I love the vibes so far. I've seen other readers compare this book to like Halloween Town. No, I'm not sure because I've never seen Halloween Town before. That's a dirty little secret of mine, but yeah, I've never seen the movie before, so I can't make the comparison, but I'm gonna trust people who have seen the movie and read the book to make the comparison, you know? But yeah, I can honestly say that so far it's just been very fun. It's very entertaining, and I love the like chaotic romance that we've had so far. It is so all over the place, but in like the best way possible. So yeah, I can't wait to continue with that one. And actually, you know, while I'm listening to the audiobook, I've actually been doing some coloring. So I found these pumpkin arts on Etsy that I've sort of been following. I have a couple more printed right here. So I am currently in the middle of coloring one of them, but I decided to print a couple more just to have more options for later. And I'm gonna show you those options for later. So this is the first one. Look at how pretty that is. It's basically these pumpkin houses. It looks so freaking cute. For some reason, these make me think of like fairies or elves. Like there's gonna be a fairy hidden in there somewhere, living in this little pumpkin house, wearing like a pumpkin outfit with a pumpkin hat or something. And you can get different designs for the pumpkin houses. I think this one is my favorite. I think I'm gonna do this one later. And this first time I was using pencils, but I'm thinking of actually switching to maybe some watercolors and use watercolors to color one of these. This one is so gorgeous as well. I think one of these actually has like books inside the house. I think the first one had some books inside the pumpkin house. Oh no, it doesn't. So maybe I didn't print that one, but there was a design in this file that actually had like a pumpkin house, and the doors were open, and there were a whole bunch of like books inside. It was very sweet. I don't know why I didn't print that one, but yes, I absolutely love all the designs, but I kind of picked out the 3 that were my favorite. So we have some options for today, you know? So yes, okay. That's for my reading plans. Right now I actually want to show you what the park looked like. So Mazirski guy, I dragged my mom out there because I didn't want to go alone, and I didn't really have anybody else who had the time. So I was just like, let's go. So we went, and it was gorgeous and beautiful, and like just being surrounded by nature in autumn creates its own magic, and being there felt like walking on magic. So yes, I hope you enjoy this next clip. We also have a pumpkin lineup, and now you guys have to guess which is the real pumpkin. Do you have your answers yet? It's obviously number 6. This is the real pumpkin. Okay, my friends, we have now moved to the kitchen and we have our pumpkin friend right here. Like I said, it's one of these smaller pumpkins. I couldn't find for the life of me the bigger pumpkins that people actually use for carving, so I had to settle for this one, which is an edible one. So after carving, I'm gonna make some pumpkin puree out of it that we're gonna need for trying out the recipes later. I have no idea if this pumpkin is any good for carving, if it's even possible, but that's what we are here to check out. So yes, but I was just online kind of reading a little bit about pumpkin carving. I read the backstory of how this thing even started, and it was fascinating. Apparently, people used it to like ward away evil spirits on Halloween. Like they would put this in their windows or outside in front of their houses with the scary faces and the light to kind of scare away evil spirits, so they would leave them alone. I found it very fascinating. I've heard a different story once. Actually, the reason why my family never got into pumpkin carving is because my mom once read kind of like the backstory of how this tradition started, and it had something to do with like stuffing children parts into the pumpkins and being sacrificed to I don't know who. And safe to say, my mom was very freaked out about that story, so she was like, we are not participating in that. We're not continuing this tradition. But today I learned some other stories as well. I don't know whether it's like depending on which part of the story you the origin you read from, or what is it, but yes. The one story that I read was about like jack-o'-lanterns and about Jack and how he was trying to fight off Satan, and that's how this whole thing came to be. Anyway, but yes, the one piece of advice that I found was that you're actually not supposed to cut off the top of the pumpkin and carve out the seeds inside. It's actually better to make a hole on the bottom of the pumpkin and carve out the seeds inside. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna make a hole down here, and then I'm gonna scoop out the insides, and then I'm gonna try and draw a little face on here first, because I only have one attempt at carving this pumpkin, so I can't mess it up, and I think I need a plan. I need to draw something on here first. Okay, we're starting. I actually feel like this is gonna be the hardest part out of everything. There we go. Oh, this might actually be easier than I imagined. We have the guts here. I have a little thing for gut scooping. Okay, that is all scooped out. Now it's time to do the carving. It's time to do the planning first, actually, and then the carving. That is so bizarre. Not at all what I had imagined, but it's a start. Smile! There we go. We have ourselves a pumpkin, a jack-o'-lantern. It was always a pumpkin, but now it's a jack-o'-lantern. Oh my goodness, that's actually kind of... I'm also gonna try to get these black lines off of its face, because like black liner is so out of fashion for pumpkins, you know. It's just not in anymore, so we should get this off. Look at it, it actually looks kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna go over more badly than this, but this doesn't look half bad. I'm actually gonna go up and get a candle. I need a smaller candle for this and see how it looks in the dark. Okay, there we go. Please behold. Oh my goodness. The pumpkin family. Oh, that looks kind of sweet actually, not gonna lie. Oh my goodness, it worked! What the hell? I'm gonna admit right now, I didn't think this pumpkin was gonna work out, but this is kind of sweet. Please tell me what you would rate my second pumpkin carving thing. What should we call this friend? Mr. Pumpkin seems kind of too on the nose. We need a different name for him. Okay, everybody, actually an idea just came to me. This was inspired by one of my most recent reads, but honestly I'm not sure whether I heard the idea in Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist or whether it was in Nightmare Before Christmas, because those are the couple of audiobooks I'm currently listening to, and now I can't be sure where I heard this. But yeah, it was one of those where the idea came from. So please let me introduce you to the Pocus family, and we have Mr. Hocus right there front and center. So hello, let me introduce you to Mr. Hocus Pocus. Wow, round of applause. His life expectancy is not very long, but his light will always be remembered. That sounded kind of sad actually, so we're not gonna go there, but yay! What do you think? Yeah, this one also lights up actually. Hold on, I almost forgot. This one also changes colors. So there we go. I think Mr. Hocus Pocus is also not ready to go yet, so he suggested we actually go outside in the sun for a little while to read. So I'm actually gonna take my book, The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, outside into the sun, read this one for a while, and then come back down here to make some recipe happen. Okay everybody, so funny little story, but it's actually the next day today. Hi. I apparently suck at making daily videos anymore, because what happened yesterday was that I went outside, like I mentioned I started reading out in the sun, and then 250 pages later I realized it was getting very late and Sunday was like almost officially over, so no more vlogging for yesterday. But I figured we might as well pick up where we left off today, so still do some of the activities that I had planned yesterday. And I blame it just entirely on how good the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore book is. It's the book's fault, not mine, for just like it sucked me in and I couldn't get out of it until it was getting so late that like it was officially time to go to bed. And I think that's a huge compliment also to just this book. I freaking adore the couple in here, the characters in here, the direction that the story is going. I adore every single second of reading this book. It might actually be even better than book one. I feel like the author's writing has just improved so much going from book one to book two. It is kind of like an amazing improvement, and I can't wait to see what she does with book 3. But yeah, so we have Hazel, Kelly, and Noah, and this crazy series of adventures that they go on. And I just, like, they are simultaneously one of the hottest couples ever. This book is pretty spicy. I think it's spicier than book 1. But then on the other hand, they are also the biggest, the most innocent and insecure cinnamon rolls that you can imagine. And sometimes I just honestly want to jump into the story just to give them the biggest like bear hug and comfort them and just tell them positive words of affirmation, because they both really need it. So yeah, Hazel is such a relatable character. I feel like a lot of readers might actually relate to her story because she really loves reading books, but sometimes on the account of kind of forgetting to get crazy and adventurous with her own life. Hence why she actually starts this summer of adventures just before she turns 30, because she feels like she missed out on the craziness that like you're supposed to go through in your 20s. So she's catching up in these last couple of months leading up to her birthday. And yeah, she's really enjoying it. So yes, I love this one. I love it a lot. I have the last 100 pages to go through, obviously, and I can't wait to see what more is gonna happen, especially with this next part. I had to stop reading last night in the middle of this really intense scene on the boat, so that's no fun. But yes, I don't have much left. The last third of the story, I'm using the photo from Whiskey Guy as a bookmark, by the way. Like, this is what I'm using. I'm about to start chapter 24, so yes, they are stuck on a boat and I want to see what's gonna happen next. Will they survive or will they not survive? That is the question. But yes, so anyway, before diving back into the book, because we have all seen what happens when I start reading, apparently I forget to vlog, I think I should go downstairs and make that pumpkin puree. I think at least Mr. Hocus Pocus is happy that I forgot about it, because now it got a full 24 hours of being a jack-o'-lantern before going into the pot. So I guess that's one positive of this whole thing. But yeah, anyway, let's go downstairs and let's cook a pumpkin. And I think I'm gonna make a pumpkin spice latte right now because I'm really craving some coffee. Don't know what it is today. I already had 2 coffees and I still feel like I need more coffee. I'm turning into Laurie Gilmore and I'm not mad about it. So yeah, let's go downstairs. Okay everybody, so we have everything ready. We have the pumpkin all cooked. I tried making a little bit of puree just by smashing it with a little fork. So I think this is gonna be enough for like a first time try. And then I have the cappuccino right here. We're gonna add some water first. I don't know how to mix the proportions milk to pumpkin. I wanna add some milk, but I don't know whether milk actually mixes well with a pumpkin. Is the taste any good? That's why I'm kind of hesitating on adding a lot of milk to my cappuccinos, even though I prefer a more milky cappuccino instead of a too watery one. But like, you know, I don't know how to judge how well milk and pumpkin work together. So now we're gonna add just a little bit of milk. A little bit more. Yeah. Okay. I have the perfect spoon for this. So if you remember, I bought this steamed spoon, and I have one that has a pumpkin on the top. So this is gonna work well, I think. This puree is turning out really smooth. I think it was gonna be way like different, but the texture is actually pretty nice. Okay, there we go. A little bit more. Should I just add all of this? There we go. Okay. Oh, that was the main ingredient, and I'm getting nervous. I'm kind of sorry now that I didn't do this in a glass so we could see what was happening inside. I can't see past the foam now. Like, is that it? Is that all it takes? I have no idea, guys. Okay, I also did a little bit of whipped cream, so we're gonna add a little bit of whipped cream. Okay, here we go, a little bit of whipped cream. I really like that sound effect. There we go. And then just a little bit of the spices. I'm gonna use like that much. That should be fine, right? Oh, that was actually quite a lot, I think. Ta-da! We have ourselves a pumpkin spice latte. Hello! Now you can also see my face. So, we have a pumpkin spice latte. I am actually feeling pretty proud about this. Does that look any good? I have no idea. The more I wait, the more I freak myself out. So I just decided to mix everything together. So everything is now inside the latte, and now it's time to try this. Oh, that's actually... Wait a second. Wait, that's actually so good. Wait, that actually... Oh, that tastes like a snack. It doesn't even taste like a coffee. It tastes like a snack. That is so good. What the hell? I actually think I would prefer this with a shot of espresso in it instead of the cappuccino, because this is getting very sweet. But like, if you're craving a sweet coffee, this is sort of perfect. Holy shit. It's kicking in. The autumn vibes are kicking into my soul right now. Oh my god, they are coming awake in my soul. Okay, you can officially call me very impressed by the pumpkin spice latte, because this is delicious, as I mentioned 10 times already. But yeah, so while I'm drinking this and finishing this, I actually want to tell you quickly, because I finished pumpkin spice and poltergeist. It is such a sweet story. It ended up being really, really cool. I just honestly appreciate how the author kind of made every supernatural creature like have its own quirks. Like, even though it's a short story, we don't really see the side characters that much, but I feel like they each had something really fun about them, and they had an interaction with one of the main characters that just made them really cool, you know? So it's the type of thing that makes you want to read more from the world and actually see the world from their perspectives as well, not only from the main characters. So that was really cool. And I just, like, I'm obsessed with the romance. It was so sweet. Was it kind of fast? Yes, kind of insta-love it. Like, you can't really get past that, I think, when you have such a short romance story. It does feel a bit insta-lovey, but at the same time, it somehow makes sense. Like, when you know Harlow and when you know Jordan, it somehow makes sense that they're jumping into this so fast. So yeah, it was very sweet. I love that I read it. It had the perfect autumn vibes. I love this little town, and I really hope the author actually does end up writing more from some of the other characters. Maybe Willow and the guy that she likes. I think that would be a really cool story. Maybe, yeah, he is a supernatural creature, right? So the guy that she likes is actually a werewolf, and apparently he has some interesting things that are expected of him. It was hinted at but never really explored properly, so I think maybe there is future books planned, and there were some seeds planted already in this first book. fingers crossed it happens, because I think it will be like a good addition to next year's fall TBR. So yes, as for the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, I haven't finished it yet, but I'm planning on today. But I'm gonna do that later, because right now I'm actually gonna drink this, finish this, and then I'm gonna go on a bike. I'm gonna go for a bike ride and watch the sunset, which is on my bucket list prompt. I think today is gonna be like one of the last sunny days this week. Okay, I'm all ready for my bike ride. I added some layers, so now it's time to go. Let's go. Hello everybody, so it's the next day and I actually just finished reading The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore, and this book ended up being so sweet. Such a sweet, cozy romance. Kind of more of like a summer romance, not so much an autumnal romance. I feel like there weren't that many autumn vibes, if you know what I mean. Much more like summer vibes, but still very cozy, so it was still a very nice read to read in October. Maybe I would recommend this one more for September than so much October, I guess. But yeah, that's besides the point. I really enjoyed how the story wrapped up. It got a bit frustrating there in the middle because the conflict, or like the miscommunication trope, I guess you would call it, just got dragged out a little bit too much. I got frustrated with how the characters kept assuming what the other person was thinking and feeling without actually asking. And when they do finally end up asking, they figure things out, but it's already the end of the story, you know, so that got a bit frustrating. But thankfully we do get a nice little bow on their relationship by the end of it, so it was fine. But yeah, just these two characters, and just the rest of them, are like the biggest cinnamon rolls, but Noah and Hazel especially, that I just couldn't help but fall in love with their romance, you know, so it was very sweet. And in honor of them being the biggest cinnamon rolls, so funny thing again, when I was making the plan for this reading vlog, I was actually going to do a 3-meal thing throughout the day with pumpkin flavor. Like I was gonna do pumpkin breakfast, pumpkin lunch, and then pumpkin dinner. But I figured, like, I do like pumpkins, but I don't love them enough to just dedicate a full day of meals to pumpkins. So instead, last night, with the remaining pumpkin puree that I had, I decided to do pumpkin cinnamon rolls instead. So here they are. Cinnamon rolls for the cinnamon rolls that I was reading about, and they are also pumpkin flavored, which I don't think you can really tell just by looking at them, because they're more like yellowish than really orangey, but you can definitely taste the pumpkin once you get past the cinnamon on top. You can definitely taste a little bit of pumpkin underneath, so they turned out really great. I had my doubts last night because the process was very messy. That's why I didn't vlog it. It was so freaking messy. I didn't think they were gonna turn out well, but thankfully what they lack in aesthetics, they do actually make up for in taste. So yes, plan successful. And now I'm actually gonna eat my cinnamon rolls while watching the movie. So I wanted to check out the movie Pumpkin Everything, the adaptation, the Hallmark adaptation of the book. And I'm gonna do some coloring while I do that. I think I'm gonna use watercolors for these, because the other week I already colored one of these pages and I did it with pencils. So this is what it looks like. I felt very limited for color with the pencils because there weren't that many really like shades of orange and brown. So I think using watercolors is actually gonna be easier. So yes, that's gonna be the last thing that I'm gonna do for this reading log, so I just actually want to say right now, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. I have no idea how chaotic this is gonna be for editing because I felt like it was all over the place, but still hope you enjoyed it. So yes, I will see you next time. I know this vlog actually took a little longer than planned, but October was just so messy. So yeah, unfortunately, this comes a little later than intended. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go and watch a movie now and do the coloring and eat my cinnamon rolls. But I'm gonna say bye now. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this next clip. And yeah, see you next time.